Hi and welcome. My name is Kristen. You can find me on Instagram as Skein Yarn or on Ravelry as K10, that's K10. This is not going to be a normal podcast today. I've decided that every now and again I'm going to do a journal entry for my blog, but instead of writing it I am actually going to film it, because for me it's much quicker if I just talk about it rather than sit down and write, which takes me forever. So if you're after a podcast episode, what I might do is when I upload these onto my YouTube channel, just look for the normal numbered podcast. With the journal entries, I am going to just specify journal and then what I'm going to talk about. So I'm thinking hopefully in the future I can maybe review some books, patterns, talk about designs, just stuff that's happening in the knitting world rather than focusing on what I'm knitting and what I'm doing and all that sort of stuff. So today I'm going to be talking about a design that I'm actually going to be making up kits for this week on our website, which is the Colour Melt Shawl. I designed this a couple of years ago now, and it's a very, very simple shawl, but what I want to talk about mainly is about the design, but also about using colours and how best to use colours for this design. I thought it would be helpful for anybody who wanted to knit this shawl. You could also apply this to other colourwork shawls or colour block shawls. So yeah, let's get into it. So the Colour Melt Shawl has two different versions. There is the 3-colour version and the 6-colour version. Originally it was just 3 colours, but I have recently just changed that to 6 colours. And the reason why is it's just a bit more fun, having more colours to play with. So let's talk about the 3-colour shawl first. So this was, like I said, the original version that I came up with. And this is it here. As you can see, it's quite a big shawl. It's very, very simple to knit. It's just a basic triangular shawl, top down. You start off with a garter tab, which I find magical. I love whoever came up with that idea. It's just crazy how you can make a little garter stitch tab and hide it in the border of the shawl. I just think, along with Kitchener stitch, it's just one of those techniques that every time I do it I just think, wow, that looks so good. So yes, garter stitch tab, and then you're just doing basic shawl increases on the side and in the middle. It's just garter stitch, so you're just knitting every row. But the main point of this design is to play with colour and display colour. So with the 3-coloured shawl you need 3 whole skeins of yarn, so 3 100-gram skeins of sock yarn or fingering weight yarn, and I used these are all old colours of ours. This is Make Hay While the Sun Shines, Chinatown, which is the purple, and then the green I'm pretty sure is Wasabi. So the beauty of this design is that when you're changing colours you melt them into each other, so that it's not like a colour block where it's just like one significant colour then the next significant colour. It actually merges them together, it brings the colours together really nicely. And all that is marling your yarn, which means you take both of the strands together of the 2 colourways and knit with them together. So you can see I started off with Make Hay While the Sun Shines, then I joined the 2nd colour, which is the Chinatown, and knit them both together. In this section here, as you can see, it's sort of fading it into the next colour, and then again I did it here. So there's, I think in total there are 9 faded colour melts, 9 colour melts that happen. So with the 3-colour shawl you start off with contrast colour 1, contrast colour 2, contrast colour 3, and then you repeat it again. So you start with contrast colour 1, contrast colour 2, contrast colour 3, and then the very edge. For this shawl, there's some options, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So for this one I did a feather and fan edge with a picot bind off. So it makes it into a bit more of a traditional look, traditional design with the lace border and the picot edge. Choosing colours for the 3 coloured shawl is really easy. You can go as bright or as dark as you want. The colours that I chose are very strong colours on their own, but when you put them together, because they've all got the same values, so they've all got the same level of darkness or level of lightness, however you want to say it, they actually sort of blend in, so it becomes more of a subtle look. Whereas if I had chosen, say, a very light grey and then used it with these 2 colours, there'd be a lot more contrast. So I didn't want that. I just wanted to have something that was quite subtle, that kind of flowed, that blended in, and yeah, and this is what I got. So when you're choosing colours for this shawl, you can do whatever you want to do. You can choose all one tone so that they're all the same darkness or lightness. You can choose one very bright, one light and one dark, which will give you a nice contrast, or you could choose 2 dark and 1 light. It doesn't really matter with this shawl because it's 3 colours, you can't really go wrong. You're blending in between the colours using the 2 strands of yarn together, which will bring all your colours together nicely. And yeah, so this is the first one, the 3 colour melt shawl. So recently I decided to do 6 colours for this colour melt shawl, and I had quite a lot of yarn laying around in the studio that were one of a kinds. They're really nice skeins, they're really nice colours, but they're not our regular colours, so I usually hold them off to the side and do something fun with them, like kits, or sell them together for different designs. But what I thought I would do is bring back the colour melt shawl and put together 6 skeins. So these, what you need for the 6 colour shawl is 6 50-gram skeins of yarn. So it still works out to be the same yardage as the 3 skein, full skein. You're just halving them. So this is it here. As you can see, it's a lot more brighter and it's a lot more modern than my last one. Okay, so it's exactly the same design pretty much from the top down, same increases, same everything, except the border is just a plain garter stitch border. I did that because I didn't think this sort of modern bright shawl would look good. I mean, you could still do it, but it wouldn't look as good, I didn't think, with the kind of traditional lacy border. I just thought just simple lines is what this shawl needed. So I've given directions in the pattern for both borders. I mean, obviously the garter stitch border is really easy because you just keep knitting garter stitch. But yes. Now, choosing colours for the 6 colour shawl, it's a little bit different. I know most people, when they hear that they have to put 6 colours together for a project, or different colours together, kind of freak out a little bit, but there's an easy way to fix that for this design anyway. So what you need to do is look at getting 3 light and then 3 dark colours. It can be, your dark colours can be bright like I did in this one. I did a dark grey that sort of has flecks of colours through it, and then I did 2 brights as well as, yes, 2 bright colours which were my dark colours, so the pink and the yellow. And then the light colours, I chose this very neutral background with little speckles. The next one had a grey tone to it with speckles, and then the last light was the aqua colour. So why do you want to choose 3 light and 3 dark? Basically because to get this shawl to really pop, you start off with either a dark or a light, and then the next colour that you add to your shawl is the opposite to that. So in this case I used a dark, then I swapped to a light, then I went to a dark, light, dark, light. And then that gives you a really nice flow for the shawl, for this design anyway. So I've pulled just one of the kits out just to show you what I mean about the light and dark. So these are the dark skeins and these are the light skeins. So they're really easy to see. If you go into your stash and you're pulling out colours, just put the dark ones together, light ones together, and then kind of choose your colour palette from there. I did kind of look for similarities in the colours when I was putting them together. So say for instance, you know, I have a yellow, there's a yellow in this colour, I've got a green, there's a green in this colour, and then a purple, and there's a purple in this colour. So they're all sort of, they all can go together, but really for this shawl it's not necessary. I will say though, I did find when I was knitting this 6 colour shawl, what looks really nice is if you keep colorway 2 and 4 very similar. So if you're starting off with a light colour, your colorway 2 will be dark, so you want the colorway 2 and colorway 4 to be similar. So in my kit, in this kit, I would choose these two for colorway 2 and colorway 4. If I started with the dark and then colorway 2 was light, I would probably go these two. And what that does is it puts sort of a grounding background, I guess, to your shawl. So, got it the wrong way around. So this colour here and this colour here are not the same, but they're similar, and it sort of brings the colours in nicely. It sort of puts the colours on a background, it displays the other colours, it puts them forward. So yeah, I mean you don't have to do that, but that's just something that I found when I was knitting the shawl. The other thing that I really like about the 6 coloured version, you can even do it with the 3 colour as well. You can mix bases, so you could for one section of both the 6 colour and the 3 colour, you could for one of them include a mohair. So you could knit mohair together with one of the sock yarns for one panel or for one colourway, and yeah, just swap it around. So have that for one and then the rest of it knit with, you know, merino yarn or whatever. You could also add in one of the colours as a speckle base, not a speckle base, a sparkle base, so that will add a nice little texture. You could choose a Donegal sock, you could do lots of different things. Choose a silky yarn and include that as one of the bases. So basically just have fun with mixing bases and mixing textures. So that's another idea. The other thing I wanted to mention just before I go is when I first started doing the 6 colour shawl, I had planned out from the very beginning the order that I wanted to put the colours. I took a photo of the skeins or the cakes laying out, so I knew what order to put them in when I was knitting. But then when I started knitting it, I realised that that order didn't really blend. It didn't look good. So sometimes, you know, what a yarn looks like in a skein or a cake looks completely different from what it looks like when it's finally knit up. So I guess my other tip is don't worry too much about the exact combination that you're going to knit your shawl in with the colorways. Just cast on, start with one color and then choose them as you go, because you'll find that something that looks great together in a cake, when you start knitting it, it just would look better with another colour next to it. So yeah, decide as you go and yeah, just have fun. Working with colour, it feels like it's a bit scary at first. I know a lot of people kind of shy away from it, but honestly, just go with your gut, have fun with it. What's the worst that could happen? And yeah, I hope you enjoy the pattern. I would also really like it if you hashtagged the pattern when you're knitting it so I can see it. So the hashtag for this design is Colour Melt Shawl. And if you like, you can tag me as well. I am Skein Yarn on Instagram, because yes, I would love to see your shawls. I also share what I absolutely love on my Instagram page. So yeah, happy knitting, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!